the Tribe, and they now lead it 5-4.
After 11 days on the road, the Tribe is back home at Progressive Field to open up their second-to-last homestand of the year as they take on the Detroit Tigers. Hi again, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. Detroit comes in second place in the AL Central, just a game back of Chicago. They were rained out in their series finale against the White Sox last night. Meanwhile, the Tribe comes home off one of their biggest wins of the year, a come-from-behind win in the ninth inning against Texas. And seemingly, Rick, the Indians have the Tigers right where they want them, here at home, where they've beaten them 5 out of 6 times.
Well, and they've won 4 out of the 5 series that they've played. You go back to July, and it was a huge series where they come back off Justin Verlander on back-to-back home runs from Santana and Hafner. Detroit had the lead at that time, and you rarely see that happen, giving up back-to-back home runs for this guy. But the Indians were able to do that, propel them to victory. They haven't played all that well since then, but I'll tell you, that was a big shot. Cabrera went out, added on, made it a 5-3 ball game, and that was a huge game for the Indians.
No doubt about it, as they've hung 2 losses this year on Justin Verlander, and the Indians will look to continue owning the Tigers. And what gives? They've won 9 out of 15 against Detroit. The Tigers have crushed the Chicago White Sox. They're 12-5 against the White Sox, but a losing record this year against the Indians.
The one way you can figure it out is the bottom line down there. The Indians have found a way to take the lead and turn it over to the closers between Pastano and Perez. Pastano has 1. Perez has 8 saves against the Tigers. And once they've gotten the lead, they've been able to slam the door. They've had a terrific year against the Tigers.
All right, let's take a look at our Nissan Road Ahead pitching matchup as Corey Kluber will go up against Justin Verlander.
Well, anytime Verlander takes the mound, you know he can possibly shut you out. He can possibly no-hit you. But the Indians have had success this year, and even in his career, because he is 13-13 against the Tribe. But this year, he has lost 2 ball games, and for some strange reason, the Indians always seem to get up when he's on the mound.
Get to a Nissan dealer for special offers on innovation that excites. And for Corey Kluber, his lone win in the big leagues came against these Detroit Tigers.
Well, and the Tigers had a chance to get him early. If you remember, he had bases loaded and 1 out. He was able to get the double play ball to get out of that inning. He settled down in that ball game, took him into the 6 innings, and he ended up getting his first win. So that should propel him and give him a little confidence against the Tigers.
Tribe trying to spoil things for Detroit here tonight. We're back with all the play-by-play action coming up next on Channel 3. And we welcome you into Progressive Field tonight for Game 1 of this 3-game weekend series between the Indians and the Detroit Tigers. Corey Kluber on the hill making his warm-up tosses. So let's take a look at Jim Leyland's starting 9, brought to you by Kia. Austin Jackson, Andy Dirks, and Miguel Cabrera, followed by Prince Fielder, who's swung the bat very well against the Indians this year. Then Delman Young and Brennan Bosch, Johnny Peralta, Alex Avila, and Omar Infante.
Let's take a look at the numbers for Corey Kluber, which is brought to you by MLB.com. At bat 12, follow the Indians everywhere. Making his 9th start. He is 1-3. That one win came against the Detroit Tigers. A couple of starts ago, September 3rd, he went 6 innings. He settled in. They had him on the ropes early. He was able to wiggle out, make a couple of big pitches at the time, and settled in and got his first major league win. Well, he'll get another crack at him tonight.
Corey Kluber's first pitch tonight, down low, ball 1 to Austin Jackson. 63 degrees, our game time temperature. It rained all day in northeastern Ohio, but around 4:30, 5 o'clock, the sky has cleared up, and a beautiful night.
That's how it's supposed to happen, isn't it? It's going to rain during the day, as long as it's not a day game.
2-1 to count to Austin Jackson, who's swinging a very hot bat. He was 6 for 11 against the White Sox in their series. That series rained out last night, the finale. They'll make that up on Monday in Chicago.
Well, Austin Jackson's had a really good year for him all the way around. 24 doubles, 10 triples.
Chased it in the dirt. Santana will throw to first. And that's out number 1.
Corey gets him with the slider, and it's nice. He bounced it. You see where Santana smothers it? Missed the tag, so he has to throw to first base, but a good pitch to get Austin Jackson to swing at it. So strikeout number 1.
Now Andy Dirks steps in, looks at a ball outside. Dirks missed all of June and all of July with tendonitis in his right Achilles. But in the 71 games that he has appeared in this year, he's hit .319. In the air, left field. Back goes Kanzler. 2 down.
Let's check out the Tribe defense behind Corey Kluber tonight. We saw Kanzler made that catch. He's in left. Carrera is in center. Shu in right. Chisenhall is at third. Donald at short. Kipnis at second. Kochman at first. Santana behind the plate.
As Dribble Cabrera still bothered by the right wrist, and Michael Brantley also out of the lineup with a soreness in his chest. Miguel Cabrera smashes it right up the middle for a base hit. And Cabrera's now hit in 4 straight games for Detroit.
Well, that guy, he's going to get his base hits. That ball was up a little bit. Tried to run it in, and there you'll see a good swing. Base hit up the middle, so a 2-out single for the Tigers. Give Fielder a chance here in the first.
19 hits and 59 at-bats against the Indians this year for Miguel Cabrera.
We were showing numbers. It was Beltre in Texas, guys that have had good years against the Indians this year, Cabrera being one of them.
Fielder chased it in the dirt.
We had Morneau when we were in Minnesota.
Yeah.
We had Beltre in Texas.
Yeah, Cabrera's hit 6 homers against the Tribe. Prince Fielder. We saw his numbers in our starting lineup graphic, over 300 average against the Tribe this year.
You know, for the most part, though, early in the year when the Indians were dominating these guys, they did a terrific job on the big boys in the middle part of the lineup. You know, it's tough to control these guys. They're going to hurt you sooner or later the more times you face them. But you hope that the game's not on the line when you have to do it and there's guys on base.
Shift on for Fielder. Fouled back, and Kluber gets ahead, a ball and 2 strikes. Prince Fielder, second in the American League in on-base percentage. He's 5th in runs batted in. Also a guy who will take his walks, 74 free passes. That's 6th most in the AL. Just a little bit outside, not by much, but there's that good eye. 2-2.
Well, for a big guy and for as hard as he swings, he really has a really good idea of the strike zone. He's amazing. He's a guy, that's why he's a run producer. He will give in. I mean, he doesn't try to hit home runs. He'll still swing hard, but, I mean, he'll take it to left field. He'll take his base hits when given.
2-2 pitch. Down and in and a full count. So Miguel Cabrera will be off at first.
Yeah, you can get behind him and move back with the big left-hander. Let him go. Stay on the line and play deep.
And Kluber's payoff pitch is line on one hop. It skips by Kipnis. Cabrera will go to third, and the Tigers have runners at the corners with 2 down.
You know, that is not a normal play for an infielder because Kipnis is playing so deep, he's in the outfield. And, you know, that ball has top spin on it, and that's not like taking a short hop on the infield like it is right there in the outfield. That's a really tough play. But it does go off him. Look at that ball sink. And, you know, normally you're used to being in on that dirt and taking the hop. That's off the grass. It'll skip a little differently. So, back-to-back singles. Cabrera at third. Fielder with a base hit.
Delmon Young, the DH, steps in now. And it's fouled to the right.
He did not have 2 feet in bounds. That will not count as a catch. He got to pull him up. He went up. He can't get out. Let's see. He's going to try and catch that ball, but fell and lost the ball as well. Look at a little kid laughing over there that's got it.
Missed inside 1-1.
Good try.
Swung on and missed. That's a pitch that he's been vulnerable.
Yeah. He will chase the slider. He has a good slider. Kluber's got a very good slider. Goes straight down. Try it again. Because you're right. He will chase it. Young is a good low ball hitter. Just ahead in the count, you can afford to bounce it.
Line up the middle, a base hit for Delmon Young on a 1-2 pitch, and the Tigers take a 1-0 lead.
That's why I said you got to bounce it, because he loves the ball down. And he can hit that breaking ball, but he will chase it as well. He had him down on the count 1-2. Corey's going to have to learn how to bounce a ball one time. Watch this one. It had the plate. It didn't get down out of the zone. And Young lined it right back up. So give him credit. He hit a good breaking ball. Had a little too much of the plate, and the Tigers will take a 1-0 lead on 3 consecutive 2-out hits.
And that will bring up Brennan Bosch. That's another category where the Indians had done a terrific job against Detroit. Before that at bat, the Tigers were 9 for 63 with a runner in scoring position in the 6 games played here at Progressive Field. And Kluber has definitely had his troubles in the first inning.
Yeah, that has been his problem inning this year.
He got out of a big first inning jam in his win in Detroit when they had the bases loaded, and Bosch, this guy, hit into the inning-ending double play. But
just minimize the damage here. You can't give up much more when you figure, okay, I'm going up against Verlander. He had 2 outs, nobody on, 3 straight hits.
Now a 2-0 count for Bosch. Up the middle it goes. It's through. Fielder around third. He will score. 4 straight 2-out hits for the Tigers, and they lead it 2-0. Well, he was ahead of Young, behind Bosch. Both results are RBI singles.
Yeah, well, there you see another pitch, middle in. Bosch takes it right back up the middle. 4 straight singles with 2 outs. In comes Fielder. Out comes the pitching coach. I don't know, whatever it is. I mean, he dodged the bullet in Detroit. We talked about it. But, you know, that first inning for Corey Kluber, and I'm sure sometimes it's in your head. You know, we're going to talk to Burba tonight, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll have to remember, talk to him about a starting pitcher, because I'm sure he's had times or stretches where you go through an inning or have a tough time getting out of the first inning when you're a starter, if it does get into your head.
Remember back to CC Sabathia. You know, he had that, I don't remember the exact year, but he had all kinds of trouble in the first inning, and they tried warming him up differently.
Yeah.
And
well, Charlie Nagy, too. Going back to Charlie when he was coming up. A lot of pitchers do.
Johnny Peralta steps in now with 2 on and 2 out. And it's ball 1. Fouled back to even the count. Yeah, you look at the Tigers as a team on the year. With runners in scoring position, they've hit 283. Against the Indians, that average drops to just 248. And as I mentioned, coming into tonight, they'd hit just 143 in the 6 games here. But already, here tonight, they've cashed in with back-to-back RBI hits with runners in scoring position. A little bit low, 2-1. And instead of a 1-2-3 easy first inning, Kluber's really having to work hard now. High pop. Center field, Carrera makes the catch. The inning is over, but Detroit scores twice here in the first, and the Indians are coming to bat. Bottom of the first inning, and the Indians starting lineup brought to you by Progressive Insurance, proud to be the official auto insurance provider of the Cleveland Indians. Shin-Soo Choo will lead it off, followed by Jason Kipnis, then Carlos Santana. Russ Kanzler, Casey Kochman, and Lonnie Chisenhall in the middle. Matt Laporta, who homered last night for the Tribe, will bat 7th, and Ezekiel Carrera, who also homered in last night's game, and then Jason Donald batting 9th.
Justin Verlander making the start. Verlander's numbers this year, 13-8, a 291 earned run average. That's the highest it's been all season long, that 2.91 ERA. He has struggled in his last couple of starts, gave up 9 hits and 6 runs against the Angels in his last start. 2 starts ago, Kansas City roughed him up. It stopped his string, or, well, he had one earlier, but it was a rain delay of less than 6 innings. So this guy, on his night, we all know, one of the best pitchers in all of baseball.
And Shin-Soo Choo, a swing and a miss at that first pitch.
Well, he's going to be careful with Choo, because Choo led off the game on the first pitch with a home run here when they won a game, and then a double in the next one, leading off. Crowded him a little bit that time.
Goes back inside off the plate to even the count at 1-1.
You go back, that was the first pitch in May. What a way to start. They ended up winning that game 2-1.
And now 1 ball, 2 strikes the count. A little bit inside off the plate.
You know, normally he's been out, and the times we have seen him earlier, he starts out anywhere between 90, 92 maybe in that first inning. He's reaching back for a little more earlier tonight.
Breaking ball.
What a pitch. You know, since that last start that he pitched against him, which was the 26th of July, and the Indians were able to come back after the back-to-back, you see a good curveball there. That's a 12-6 breaker. But in his 9 starts since that, when the Indians beat him, he's 2-3 and an ERA of 4. So he has struggled a little bit for him.
The 2-2 now. And Choo lifts it high in the air to shallow left. In comes Andy Dirks. 1 away. Well, let's check in with Katie Witham to see what she's got on the Indians' approach against Justin Verlander tonight.
Well, Matt, Rick, you know, it's a rare occasion when the Indians play a series against Detroit and don't face Justin Verlander. I had a chance to speak with Sandy Alomar Jr. today. He said that familiarity definitely helps this Indians team. They know what he has. They know he has good separation between his pitches. Even though he's a hard guy to hit, especially with 2 strikes, Sandy said the thing that he felt was the key in the last 2 games against Verlander was the Indians were able to attack him early in the count.
Well, they try and get after him early, because in his last start, 3 pitches or less, they got 10 hits off, you know, in the 2 starts this year and 31 at bats. Comes out to a 3.23 average. And remember, he had about 30 pitches after the first 3 innings, and he started to change his approach and going with more curveballs to the hitters.
Well, and Verlander, while he certainly is a guy who, like every great fireballing pitcher, he has a lot of pride in that number 1 pitch. But he's not stupid either. He knows what the Indians have done and had success against him, so he's not just going to rear back and try to blow it by everybody to start the game. I mean, we've already seen him mix in a lot of breaking balls. There's another good one, and he gets ahead of Jason Kipnis.
But the one thing he didn't do his last time, even though, is sometimes start him off with strikes or throw that pitch for a strike when he was missing, and then he had to come in with the fastball. So if you make him make a few adjustments instead of going with the number 1 and settle in, that certainly helps. Now 97.
Yeah, as great as his fastball is, if you can make him one-dimensional, you've got a chance. The 2-2. Fouled back. Well, we have seen him, though, on certain occasions where he's able to throw everything for strikes, and that's when you really are in trouble. When he can throw his curveball and his changeup and locate his fastball, then it's a long day. The 2-2. Good at bat for Kipnis as he fights off the fastball.
Well, I think it goes back to what you talked about, familiarity, and what Sandy Alomar mentioned. Facing a guy in the division, seeing him as many times as they have. That 13-13 record is very indicative of that, even though the roster for the Indians has changed over a lot of those starts. And Kipnis draws a walk. So a one-out base runner here in the first for the Indians, and it will bring up Carlos Santana.
Take a look at the Home Depot Tigers defense tonight. Dirksen left, Jackson center, Bosch and right. Cabrera at third, Peralta at short, Infante at second, Fielder at first, Avila behind the plate. More savings, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Yeah, anytime you need base runners, you have to take advantage. And I believe you're going to have to hit a home run off him to beat him. I really do, because he doesn't give up many hits. When you look at his 210 innings pitched, he's given up 168 hits. And he has 212 strikeouts, so he can, when he does get base runners, he can get out of it with the strikeout.
He's had a few clunkers along the way. He gave up 12 hits to Kansas City 3 starts ago. He gave up 9 hits to the Angels his last time out.
A divisional opponent. It's tough when you don't face this guy a lot to get that many hits off him, that's for sure.
Santana went after that first pitch. It was an off-speed delivery and fouling it back 0-1. League leaders brought to you by your Cleveland Akron area Lexus dealers. Max Scherzer with 220 strikeouts and Verlander with 212.
Nice 1-2 punch, isn't it?
Wow. Again,
Santana's not seeing the fastball.
No.
He's seeing change-ups. They know he likes the fastball, so back-to-back change-ups by Verlander. Now the Indians, too, with their starts against Verlander, in his last start in July, the 26th, 21 of the 31 batters swung at the first pitch. In the earlier game, 14 of the 30. So, the more they face him, they say, let's get after him early and let him know we're going to be aggressive.
He's really paying a lot of attention to Kipnis. He's going to ask for time and dust himself off. Right back to Verlander. He'll go to second. There's one. Peralta's return throw on the money for an inning-ending double play. After an inning, it's the Tigers 2 and the Indians nothing.
Baseball is brought to you by McDonald's Cherry Berry Chiller. Cherry and raspberry flavors blended with ice and 100% fruit juice. By AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. And by your Northern Ohio Toyota dealers.
Beautiful, cool evening in downtown Cleveland where the Indians trail the Tigers 2-0. Alex Avila, Omar Infante, and Austin Jackson coming up here in the second inning. Corey Kluber recorded the first 2 outs in the first inning on 8 pitches. But then 4 straight Tigers singles accounted for their first 2 runs. Alex Avila has been mired in a funk, especially of late. In his last 22 games, he's hit 152, and he's punched out 24 times.
Well, remember, we started off our road trip in Detroit, and he was searching, man. He was, 0 for 14 before he blooped one in the left field line and broke that string. He's a guy that had some huge hits for him last year, and he's gone through some tough times this year. Normally a great low ball hitter. I know he's had some knee problems. But he's a gamer. He's a tough guy. He gets behind the plate. 1 year ago, he was at 300, had 18 dingers and 75 ribbies. So that's a huge difference. You know, that's the thing for Detroit, why they've been so inconsistent, because the complementary pieces like Avila, like Bosch, like Dirks, they have to, do their share as well when you have the Cabreras and the fielders.
All right, Avila with the leadoff walk, and we take a look at our injury report brought to you by Elk & Elk Serious Lawyers for serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. And for the Tigers, they're pretty healthy going down the stretch here. They've known for quite some time they weren't going to get Victor Martinez back. Rayburn hadn't been swinging the bat well, which is why they went out and traded for Omar Infante, as that bounced to second base. And Kipnis will retire Infante 1 away.
Boy, Leland loves to hit and run when he gets to this part of the lineup, especially if he has the lead. He just sent Avila on the very first pitch without even hesitating. He's taken off, and Infante does a nice job. Hits the ball on the ground like you're supposed to do. That's the hit and run. Get it on the ground. If you find a hole, it's a bonus, but he got his job done. He got the man to second base for Jackson.
And Jackson struck out his first time up. Outside, ball 1. Caught the inside corner as Jackson leaned back 1-1. And that pitch just nailed the outside corner. Drilled right field. Chute trying to cut it off. He can't get to it. Scoring is Avila. Jackson into second base with his 25th double of the year. And it's 3-0 Detroit.
So the walk comes back and it hurts Kluber. That was a nice job of hitting there by
Jackson, who with 2 strikes shoots that ball down the right field corner. I want to take a look at the pitch and see exactly what it was. If it was upstairs, and there it was, a pitch that came back on the plate, it was up. And that helps you. When that ball is elevated, it helps the hitter go the other way. It makes it a little easier for him. He doesn't have to use his legs as much. Drives it down into the corner. So Avila scores. Jackson gets his 58th RBI, his 25th double. It's 3-0 Tigers.
And Andy Dirks, who flied to left, fouls the first pitch back. Pin at the outside corner, 0-2.
So far tonight, when Kluber has been able to get to 2 strikes on the hitters, Detroit, they have taken advantage of it, 3 for 4. So he hasn't been able to put anybody away.
In the dirt, good block there by Carlos.
Slider down and in at the feet of Andy Dirks.
And now the count goes to even at 2-2. Now a full count. And Kluber piling up a lot of pitches here early. Payoff pitch is popped up. Behind home plate, back to the screen, but Santana won't have enough room to get to it. And Dirk stays alive. Austin Jackson, who doubled in a run at second base. The 3-2 to Dirks. Strikes him out. 2 down in the inning. Second strikeout for Corey Kluber. Time now to take a look at our trivia question tonight, brought to you by AT&T. A poem that appeared in the Boston Post on this day in 1948 coined what phrase about a Braves pitching tandem?
I know you're all over that one, aren't you?
We'll have the answer coming up later in the game. Miguel Cabrera, base hit and a run scored his first time up. And Cabrera comes up empty, 0-1. Back out of play. That first inning base hit, Miguel Cabrera, .329 average on the year. He trails Mike Trout, who leads the league at .331. Derek Jeter is third at .323. And you look at the Triple Crown numbers for Cabrera.
trailing Hamilton in the home runs and the RBIs.
One ball, two strikes.
We'll see how he tries to put Cabrera away with 2 strikes here. He's had problems. He was able to get Dirks. He had him down, but Dirks worked it back to a full count before he struck him out. It's a good pitch that he fouled off. Tough one to handle. Looked like a little cutter. Cutter down and away, and watch. Good hitters. How he gets a piece of it, I don't know. Look at that ball. Right off the end of the bat. Santana's going down to block it. Look at him. Almost to block it in the dirt, and he ends up getting a piece of it. Hitters like that, man, they got to drive you nuts as a pitcher. That's why he's hitting 330.
Yeah. No, he just roped that right up the middle. Jackson flying around third. He'll come home to score, and the Tigers now lead it 4-0. And Cabrera is 2 for 2 on the night. Now 119 runs batted in on the year.
Well, I'm going to tell you, that guy, that's why he is a 330 hitter. He fouled off a tough pitch that most hitters swing and miss, and then grabs that next one and drills it right back up the middle. RBI machine. So another 2-out hit, another 2-strike hit, and the Tigers take a 4-0 lead.
And now Prince Fielder, who had a 2-out base hit his first time up. And Santana picks it in the dirt. The 1-0 to Prince Fielder. Fouled right back. Left-hander Chris Seddon getting up in the Tribe pen. Kluber's already made 50 pitches. And there are 2 out here in the second inning. Prince Fielder, he's a guy who can't get him out of the lineup. This will be his 324th consecutive game. It's the longest active streak in the major leagues. And he hit him.
Well, the way it's going tonight, he will not be around long for this one.
Ruben Niebla for the second time going
in
out.
Many innings. That's right. He tried to throw that cutter in, and he doesn't give an inch. It's almost like he gets drilled a lot. He doesn't matter. Puts the bat down, walks to first base. For Fielder, that's the 16th time he has been hit by a pitch. That's got to lead the league.
That's the second time in as many starts he's hit Prince Fielder with a pitch. He hit him with one back in Detroit. And remember the start here in Cleveland, he threw one and clipped Derek Jeter, wasn't it? Wasn't that Kluber too?
Yeah, that got him in the head.
Yeah.
Yes.
Delman Young, an RBI single his first time up. It's outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Two on, 2 out. Good change of pace that time.
Had the
1
same
and 2.
count on him the last time. He went with a breaking ball, but the breaking ball he threw stayed middle of the plate, even though it was down. See if he tries to bounce one time and get him to chase it. There you go.
He went around and the inning is over. 3rd strikeout for Kluber, but the Tigers get 2 more and they lead it 4-0. Bottom of the 2nd inning. Russ Kanzler, Casey Kochman, and Lonnie Chisenhall due up for the Tribe. And Justin Verlander staked to an early 4-run lead. Verlander with a fastball for strike 1 to Kanzler. Comes back with a breaking ball in the dirt. 1-1. High pop on the infield. Prince Fielder, the first baseman, calls for it. 1 away. Let's go downstairs and hear from Katie Witham once again.
Well, Matt, the Indians want to help you and your family get on out here to the ballpark with their new transportation options. You can take a free shuttle from Ohio City Park right next door in the Gateway Garage or jump on the RTA rail service. For more information, log on to Indians.com/plan your trip. Matt?
Thanks, Katie. Casey Kochman drives one to right field. Back goes Brennan Bosch and makes the catch in the corner for out number 2. Let's check out our stat of the game. Brought to you by your Northern Ohio GMC dealers. In his last start against the Angels, Verlander only made it through 97 pitches, the first time In 80 starts, he didn't go at least 100.
That's incredible. Well, this guy, when he goes 100, just getting loose for him because he goes anywhere from 115 to 125, it seems like, every start.
He's gone as high as 127 this year.
132. 31, I see. I see 32.
132 against the Yankees.
120 is, right around there. 115, 120. Unbelievable.
Well, he had his streak snapped this year also of going at least 6 innings in a ball game.
That was some kind of streak. When you think about it, it's incredible that you can go out and do things like that.
Lonnie Chisenhall with a base hit in the right field, and the Indians have their first hit tonight. It's a 2-out single by Lonnie Chisenhall. Has really swung the bat well since he's come back off the disabled list.
Changeup is going to be the base hit. Lonnie went down and hit a good pitch. Lonnie likes that ball down there. Kept his hands back enough to get the Verlander changeup. He didn't have him out front. Did hit it a little bit off the end, but it falls in there for the Tribe's first hit. Well, there you go. Averaging 114. There you go.
And 8 times 120 or more. He also had a streak snapped this year in which he had gone at least 6 innings in 63 straight starts.
Yeah, that wasn't it Carlton that had the record where he went
69. He did it 69 straight.
That was the last guy to do it, something like that, and that was you're going back into the 70s.
But Verlander's streak got stopped
on
officially because of a rain-shortened game.
Right, that's too bad.
Matt Laporta coming off a very strong performance in Texas where he went 3 for 5. His 2-run homer got the Indians on the board in that game. Tied it up, and then the Tribe rallied again in the 9th to win it. 1-2 the count. Strikes him out to end the inning. First strikeout for Verlander, and it's 4-0 Detroit after 2. Enjoy a cold one to stay tuned later in the game for Miller Time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. You're watching Cleveland Indians baseball. Glad to have you with us on this Friday night. Matt Underwood, Rick Manning here, and we're joined now by former Indians pitcher Dave Burba. As we start the third inning, Detroit on top 4-0. Burbs, how are you?
I'm doing great. It's good to be back. Good to see you guys.
Always nice to see you,
Yes.
my friend.
Yes.
You just finished up your season recently, right?
Yeah, we just finished up. It was a good season for us. Saw some improvements in the kids. That's what you're looking for anyway at
Pitching
that
coach
level.
Currently in the Colorado Rockies organization, and this second year?
Second year, yeah.
How's it going? You enjoying the
I
coaching?
do. I love it, especially when you see some results and, not too far removed, so I can relate to the kids, I think, pretty well.
You're still a kid.
Is it patience?
Yeah.
Do you have to have the patience?
Got to
on
have
there?
some patience, yes. They don't latch on real quick, let's just say that.
Yeah. Well, is it something that you thought it was? I mean, as a player, never really thinking of coaching, but after you're getting into it now and finding out, is it maybe a little tougher than you thought, or is it fun to work with the kids?
It's a little tougher than I thought, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's fun to work with the kids also, but you think that, when you tell them something, they're going to understand it and move forward, and it doesn't work that way. It's like pounding a stubborn nail. Every once in a while, you get it to move just a little bit, and
got to figure out a different way to get it down into the wood, huh?
A little heavier hammer sometimes works.
Well, speaking of that, we were talking earlier tonight. Corey Kluber, he's had some troubles in the first inning this year, and we were going to ask you if you ever had issues early in a game, and we've seen other starting pitchers who, for whatever reason, that first inning is just a major hurdle for them. If you had a young pitcher who was struggling, what are some things you talk to him about to try to overcome that problem early in a game?
Actually, I did have a kid this year that was having problems in the first inning. I went through it in one year where, I'd get for 2 quick outs and nobody on base and walk out of the inning with 2 runs.
Well, exactly what happened tonight to Corey Kluber in the first.
You just, for me, I think it was just you let your guard down a little bit. Okay, I got 2 outs, and it's hard to turn that button back up. So that's the first thing I talked to him about. He told me that he doesn't feel that he's loose enough to get ready to face the hitter. So I told him, let's go down next start and let's throw 10 more pitches. And that seemed to work for a while, but then he got back into the mode, and I told him, the big thing about it is don't let your guard down, keep after them, because as soon as you let it down, they're going to get you.
Can it start creeping into your head where all of a sudden, it gets in there and it's the first inning and you know it, and you just start thinking about it?
Absolutely, absolutely. I got 2 outs. I can't give up a run now. You start thinking negative things.
And the only reason why I say that is because his first start in Kansas City when they called him up, he gave up 6th inning first run innings, and it just bang. They hit the first pitch out of the ballpark, and it just snowballed from that point on. But when he settles down after that first inning, he's been fine.
Yeah. That's the I was going to say his first start. I mean, I remember my first start. I couldn't even stand on the mound. Kept stepping off, going, this is crazy. The legs shaking like a...
Well, people don't understand. You can be nervous, and a lot of things can get into that mind, and the adrenaline rush.
Felt like a newborn calf trying to stand up out there.
On 2 legs.
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, after that, you figure out, hey, this isn't any different from pitching at any level I've been in. You settle down, but, you get into that problem. I can't get out of the first inning without giving up runs. And I don't know if it was 99 or 2000. I went through at least 7 or 8 starts like that. And, I couldn't figure out if it was mental or what it was, because I knew it wasn't because I didn't warm up enough. I always threw too many warm-up pitches, I thought.
Well, you still won 15 games that year, right?
I believe so.
Yeah. 15 3 straight years.
Omar Infante looks at a ball outside, and you were a guy who You know, when we talked about this with you before, you could win a 2-1 game. You could win a 6-5 game. You always seem to have that an ability to know the situation and know, I got to lock it down right here. I can't give up anymore.
Yeah, once you get through that first inning, you know, well, I haven't been able to watch the Indians a whole lot, but with the teams that we had here, I knew if I can keep it close, that's all I have to do.
We'll get back to it.
All right, it's a 4-0 Tigers lead as we go to the 4th inning. Got ahead of myself. Going to the bottom of the 3rd with a 4-0 Tigers advantage.
You're just trying to get Berber out of the booth. He didn't want to talk to you anymore. He said, "Here's the 4th. See you, Dave."
No, that's not the case. It's always great to see Burbs. And
yes, it is.
I do have to say it was an honor throwing out the first pitch.
He threw a strike. You still got it.
It was high. It was high. I thought maybe when I got up here you were going to say something about fantasy camp, about me getting worn out all the time.
No. I was gonna save it to this inning.
Okay.
Well, Sandy was out there to catch it for you, so that was good.
That was awesome. I was hoping that he would catch it.
Yeah, he certainly did.
It was great to see him.
Now, Dave, you obviously threw to Sandy a lot during your time here, and there's a lot of talk. Sandy Alomar's going to be a manager eventually. Did you see any of those kind of traits in him when you were teammates?
Well, I get asked the question a lot, who was the favorite catcher that ever caught me, and Sandy's an easy answer. After you get out of the game, you start looking back and you're like, who would be a good manager? And he's one of the first guys I thought of. He just had a way with, if I wasn't on my game, he came out and he wasn't afraid to say something.
Right. He kept you in check and in line. And
absolutely. And then after the game, he'd come over and say something funny to me, just let me know, hey, got your back, but between the white lines, this is business.
And that was a big man behind the plate, 6'5", a big target. He
absolutely
knew what he was doing back there. Yeah.
He'd get mad at me, called me 0-2-3-2.
The count of full. And, of course, we had all the highlights when Einar Diaz was behind the plate that day. No, but Sandy, he's a baseball guy.
It's something I wanted to ask you, too, Dave, and we've seen this a lot with Indians pitchers. Tribe's gone through some struggles offensively this year. I mean, over the last month, it's pretty much been an offense that's averaged about 3 runs a ball game. So Rick has said a lot of times as a pitcher, you go out there, you can't afford to give up a lot of runs. As much as you try not to think about that because you're not hitting, you're just worrying about the other team's lineup. Does that creep into your mind if you know your team's not scoring a lot of runs?
Absolutely. I went through a stretch with that when I was with the Reds. I wasn't getting any run support, so, that night before I'm pitching, I'm like, man, if I give up a run or if I give up 2 runs, I'm going to lose the game.
Try to be perfect.
Yeah.
And you can't pitch that way.
You can't. You can't do it. It's already hard enough to get these guys out and throw quality pitches on a consistent basis, and then start worrying about making perfect pitches. And if I get ahead of a guy, I want to strike him out. I don't want to give up a run. And you start doing things that you're not capable of doing.
That's when I say, as hitters, and you're in a lineup and you get bases loaded, as they've struggled this year with bases loaded, nobody out. Guys start trying so hard to do things they're not capable of doing instead of just being themselves.
Yep.
They go out of their realm, and it hurts them more than it helps them.
Instead of just staying relaxed and driving the ball where it's hit and taking the RBI.
Or take a walk, or do whatever little thing you have to do to succeed. The same thing creeps into your brain on the mound as it does in the batter's box. It's just the nature of the beast out there. When you get between the lines, you hear a lot of people say the game speeds up on you. Yeah, it speeds up here is where it starts speeding up, and that's when you hurt yourself instead of slowing everything down and being relaxed.
Yeah. When you start thinking, you're pretty much beating yourself instead of just relying on your ability.
Instinct.
Yes, and doing what you're good at.
Yeah, how many times you hear people say he's got great instincts out on the field? Well, when you let your instincts go, everybody does, and you play well.
That's what when you get in the playoffs. Some guys are better in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't hit the ball during the playoffs. Well, they probably put too much pressure on themselves instead of just saying, I'm just going to play the game.
Great a player as Barry Bonds was. He was awful in postseason play until he finally broke through with San Francisco later in his career.
Yeah, it's a tough game. It's not just about throwing the ball and hitting the ball. It's keeping your mind right.
And staying healthy. And I think back to the gutsy performance you had in '99. I mean, we all knew you weren't healthy going down the stretch. You tried to gut it out, and eventually your arm just gave out on you there in Boston in the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, that was more or less, Grover said, hey, can you go? And I said, well, I can go as long as I can. You know my situation, but it was a playoffs. I thought I owed it to my teammates. And unfortunately, the last pitch of the game, actually it was a little pitch before that, but I didn't say anything. And the funny thing was, I got a ground ball back to me. Now what do? I got a numb arm.
I can't throw it. Hey, great catching up with you. Thanks.
Good to see you guys. Thanks for having me.
Dave Berger with us here tonight. Tigers lead the Indians 4-0. Tigers lead it as we go to the 4th inning. Top of the order due up for Detroit. Matt Underwood, Rick Manning, and happy to be joined now by former Indians pitcher Steve Karsay, who is back in the Indians organization. He was a pitching coach this summer out in Arizona, and successful first year as a pitching coach?
It was. I enjoyed it very much. We finished 6 games over 500, and we have a lot of young talent down there. I'm really pleased with the new draft that we had this year, bringing some guys in, and some of the other guys that have been there during spring training.
Well, with all the experience you had as a pitcher, professionally in the big leagues, this isn't interesting to go all the way back to where it begins, because all the guys you had were really just getting their first taste, right?
Yeah, it's about building a good foundation.
That's what we talked about in spring training. I was going to ask you. You said, I want to start right from the bottom and work my way up, to find out.
Absolutely. And it's all about starting a good foundation, getting them into a good routine, and getting them to understand the way the game of professional baseball is played compared to high school or junior college or regular college.
And, it's tough to, with the guys coming out of college or wherever they're from, high school, and some of these kids from the Dominican that, are young kids. It's hard to project them doing something because they're not done growing. There's a lot to learn, isn't there?
There is a lot to learn. It's a big transition for them. Whether it's high school, college, or junior college, they're pitching once a week. They're not on a regimented throwing program, a continuous long toss program every day, and they got to kind of understand what their body is able to do.
Dirks with a ground ball between first and second. Kipnis scoops, throws, got him. Nice play by Jason Kipnis for out number 2. Were you able to sort of kind of go back in your own mind and put yourself in that position where you were starting out your career?
I was, a lot of the guys I talked to, I told them, I said, I've been in your shoes before. I was drafted out of high school, which a lot of these young kids were, who are 18 down there. I went through some growing pains myself, learning the game of baseball, learning, pitch sequences.
That takes a long time.
Yeah, it's not an overnight thing for sure.
Yeah, pitch sequences. How about just command? Command of your fastball. Command of one pitch.
What? Absolutely. That's the main focus of what we were trying to do down there.
Right.
Is you have to command your fastball to be successful in this game.
Yes, you do.
My main thing with them was if I told them, well, if there was one pitch you had to go out there and you couldn't throw anything else, what would it be? And everybody said it would be my fastball.
Right.
So it's the most important.
Yes, it is. That's, to me, locate it. Once you start locating, that's the key to pitching. I don't care how hard you throw. If you can locate and then just back off a little bit, that's the art. That's the key.
And I think they learned that. I think they get a good grasp of it. Whether they learned it at this particular point or not is time will tell. But, they felt a lot better about it.
What great inning for Corey Kluber as he goes through the Tigers 1-2-3, and he strikes out Miguel Cabrera. We'll continue with Steve Carsey when we come back. 4-0 Detroit.
Back here at Progressive Field where the Tigers lead the Indians 4-0, bottom of the fourth inning. Matt Underwood, Rick Manning, and we're joined now by Steve Carsey, who's been visiting with us and just finished his first year as pitching coach for the Indians down in the minor leagues. And see, the fact that you started and you relieved, you worked in both of those roles, does that also enable you to work with any kind of pitcher, whether it's a guy who has aspirations of being a starter or a guy who's a potential closer?
Yeah, I think the experiences that I've had in those positions really helped me to connect with a guy and develop a good rapport with him and give him an understanding of, what routine you might need for starting, or maybe what routine you would need, to pitch out of the bullpen.
And in the Arizona League, do you already have guys who are specifically slotted to be relievers as opposed to, hey, this guy's definitely going to be a starter, or do you have any idea yet because there's so much more development that has to go into these players?
There's definitely a lot more development. I mean, we have our primary guys who we project to be starters, our five-man rotation, and then the rest of the guys in the bullpen, we kind of just find them innings and pitch them in different situations and see, maybe mentally what they can handle, what they can't handle, what's a good spot for them.
Well, you played with numerous different organizations. What brought you to the Cleveland Indians to become a coach? It could have been Oakland, it could have been the Yankees, it could have been somewhere else. Why Cleveland?
I think being here, these were really the pivotal points in my career where I thought I pitched the best. Playing with guys and winning and having the experiences of winning and being able to teach that and come back to this organization. I mean, it's really a special place for me with the fans and with the guys I've played with. You couldn't ask for anything more coming from a team where, John Hart brought me over when I was with Oakland and now being here.
That was a nice run, wasn't it? There's the big boy at first base. And the ultimate goal for you, obviously, there's opening day at Baltimore. Morning Trek Power.
That's
Little man hit it. Little man hit it. That's right. And the ultimate goal is get back to the big leagues, right, to become a pitching coach.
Absolutely. That is the ultimate goal. But, again, the first year for me being in Arizona really kind of, I felt, shaped me in understanding how to develop my time between the rehab guys, between our pitching staff, and really delegate, certain areas of what I was able to do to teach guys.
Yeah, and I think further you go up the ladder, maybe a little easier, it gets to where you can implement your program.
Correct. I think the program that we have in place here is terrific. I think the way we teach our young players and develop them and try to get them well-rounded, from the ground up as far as being in rookie league and what it's going to take to get to the next level.
Yeah, and that's right. And then the next level. And you have to learn every step of the way. People don't understand that.
There's going to be bumps in the road for these guys, and that's one of the things that I try to explain to them. I said it's not going to be, peaches and cream all the time, pitching at these certain levels. You're going to go through some rough times, and you really got to know how to self-evaluate yourself. And I think they're kind of getting a better understanding of that.
Of course, we see all the time pitching coaches, managers, obviously they're important. They have impact on players. But players tend to gravitate toward other players. When you were pitching, Steve, who were guys that were influential for you in your career, the guys that you kind of went to and talked to and sought out advice from?
I would definitely agree with you. Players know players best. Being here, I had a great group of guys. I mean, Sandy was my catcher. I used to talk to him all the time. Mike Jackson in the bullpen. Dave Bourbon next door. I used to talk to him a lot and hang out with him and really talk pitching. Charles Nagy, was another older guy who had success, who've been in the situations that I wanted to be in with the World Series.
Well, you can't beat experience. And that's obviously important for a team, for a young player. When you've got a guy who's been there and done it all, and you can go and ask him something, or, hey, I'm going through this, he's going to be able to tell you, and he's not going to sugarcoat it for you.
Well, like the thing, you learn from your players, and that's the thing. And if you play together for 2, 3, or 4 years, you get to know one another, and you become a unit and a team, it makes it so much easier because they know your tendencies when you go out into the heat of the battle and when you're between the lines. That's what makes it part of the fun.
And I think people mistake what team chemistry really brings. Yes, you can have talent, but you need that team chemistry, which I felt like we had in those years where we were coming to the ballpark every day and it was filled and we were winning, and we just had that. We just had that feeling like when we came to the ballpark that we were going to win this game.
Attitude. Mm-hmm. It was an attitude. And, it is a feeling. It's a belief, and it's something you have to work for. And winning just makes it that much better, because it's still good even when you're losing and you work your way up the ladder. You have to learn how to lose before you can win.
There's no question about that. You gotta learn what failure is before you can succeed. And I think that with teaching these young guys that you're going to fail, but when you do fail, learn from that failure don't repeat it again.
Exactly. And you keep going on, and you work at it, and it's a fun process to go through.
It's very rewarding because you watch these young guys, you see them struggle a little bit, then you see them gaining some confidence, watching them pitch well, and getting just a really good understanding of, you know what, these guys that I'm playing against are pretty good, and I can compete with them.
Yeah.
And it gives them the idea that they belong.
Once you see the light go off, or they see the light go off, and something clicks in their game or in their mind or something, it's fun to watch because they can take off to the next level, and it takes some people longer than others.
How many times have we seen a young player get his first taste? Okay, but struggles, goes back, comes back, and maybe that second, maybe that third time up, all of a sudden something clicks. He goes, I belong.
He believes he belongs. Yeah, it's a confidence level.
That's exactly what it is, and I think the young guys who we drafted this year understand that that's the confidence that they need to build on every day that they come to the ballpark, and it's a process. It's not something that's going to happen overnight, and when guys can understand that it's not an instant gratification type of deal. That's when they start preparing better and starting to succeed more.
When the young kids understand it's tough to get to the big leagues, but it's tougher to stay in the big leagues than it is to get here.
And that's what we talk about. I said your goal should be to get to the big leagues, but your priority goal is to stay in the big leagues and have a very good career.
Hey, thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Great job this year.
Thank you.
Steve Garsay with us here tonight. Indians trail the Tigers 4-0 as we go to the fifth. "17 locations in Northeast Ohio. By Levin's, home of the Sealy Posturepedic mattress made right here in Northeast Ohio. By Kia, Cleveland.com. And by First Merit Bank. We go to the fifth inning, and the Tigers still lead it 4-0. They got 2 in the first and 2 in the second. Corey Kluber has retired 5 straight. And he'll face Prince Fielder to start inning number 5, and it's outside ball 1.
Probably not coincidence. As soon as we brought the pitchers in, Corey Kluber started pitching well. Jammed him, rolls it up the first baseline, and that's an easy play for Casey Kochman. One away. Our Ford highlight reel brought to you by your Northeast Ohio Ford dealers. And the Tigers got it rolling in the first inning with 4 consecutive 2-out singles.
Yeah, the 2 strikes. Corey got him 2 strikes. He couldn't put them away. They have 4 of them. And that has been the damage for the Tigers. 6 hits, 4 of them coming with two strikes and a 4-0 lead. And now starting to get into that rhythm like we've seen him do in the past. But sometimes, you know, with the guy you're matched up against, you can't afford to do that.
Outside, 1-1. Popped him up. Back goes Jason Kipnis. And we've got 2 down here in the 5th. Our minor league update brought to you by University Hospitals. And tonight at Trenton, the Akron Arrows, they're out to a 2-0 lead in that best of 5, trying to wrap it up. But they lead the game 5-4, even though Carlos Carrasco was banged around for 4 runs in his 2 innings of work. So the Arrows trying to put the bow on a championship season at Double-A. Brennan Bosch, an RBI single in the first, grounded out his last time up. Down the left field line, and a fair ball. Into the corner it goes. Bosch into second base with a 2-out double. And that stops a string of 7 straight retired by Kluber.
Well, he did a nice job of going the other way with it. Brennan Bosch. This pitch is going to be elevated, though. Well, come on down tomorrow night. It'll be $1 dogs for all you people that want to come down. The Tigers 4:05 start. Hot dogs only $1 courtesy of Sugardale. Log on to Indians.com.
Johnny Peralta will be the batter with a runner at second and 2 down. He has flied out and walked. Chris Seddon still warming in the Indians bullpen as Kluber closes in on 90 pitches for the night.
Well, he could be ready for the next hitter. Although he did settle into a nice little groove through the 3rd.
Hit off the end of the bat, foul. And nice change of pace at Peralta out in front. 1-2 the count. White Sox and Twins are scoreless in the second inning in Minnesota. Detroit began the night 1 game in back of the White Sox.
Nice block.
Runner at second with 2 down, and the 2-2 pitch to Peralta. Way outside with it, full count. Peralta hitting just .210 over his last 45 games. And the 3-2 is fouled back. So when you couple that with the fact that Avila has struggled offensively this year, and then they went out and reacquired Omar Infante, the bottom third of this Tigers lineup, they're looking for somebody. One guy out of those three they need really to step up and start swinging the bat.
Remember how we talked about the quadrants, the first three, the middle three, the bottom three? You like to have one guy going at each time. And they haven't been together down there at that part of it.
In the hole, a base hit. Bosch coming around third, going to be waved home. Kanzler's throw to the plate. He is out at the dish. A perfect throw by Russ Kanzler on the fly to home plate to cut down Brennan Bosch. And the inning is over. Perfect throw on the fly and right on target.
First opportunity he's had as an outfielder. With 2 outs, they're going to send him. And look at this, right there on the money. Gets it to Santana, who has plenty of time to tag him out. So that's a 2-out base hit. Nice throw. Gets him out of the inning. He might have saved Kluber a chance to go back out there.
Well, the thing you notice too, Rick, is he didn't speed it up. He just made picked up the ball first.
Stayed within yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Nice and under control.
Well, that's not a bad job, I'll tell you, right there, throwing somebody out to get yourself an assist.
Casey Kochman fly to the right field corner his first time up. Verlander about to make his 60th pitch of the night, and it's a strike, 0-2, and that's the 11th time now he's either had an 0-2 or a 1-2 count in the game.
Well, when he gets you 0-2, 1-2, you know he's got you, because he can throw the fastball again. He can come with a curveball. He can catch you in between is what he can do. And there it is. He did make a good pitch, and Casey Kochman fought it off.
Second hit of the night for the Indians, and their leadoff man aboard for the first time in the ballgame.
He made a good pitch. He's got him down 0-2, so he says, I'm going to rush a fastball inside. But Kochman, he flew out on the changeup his first time up, and he battled. I mean, that's all you're going to do with that fastball there on your fist. Bloop it in, get a base hit.
And now Lonnie Chisenhall, who had the first hit of the night for the Tribe, he got a changeup, and he roped that into right center field. Got another changeup, but it's outside for ball 1.
For whatever reason this year, Justin Verlander, not the Cleveland Indians. Against the Cleveland Indians, he's 0-2 in his 2 games started. But the rest of the Central Division, he's 4-0.
Fastball evens the count of 1-1. Well, and to be honest, it's not like the Indians have beat him up.
2-1, 5-3. The 5-3 game was the one that was the staggering one because they went back-to-back home runs late in the ball game.
Well, and the important thing is when you go up against a guy like Verlander who's got an ERA of 2.91, you've got to pitch well against him.
That's as high as it's ever been all year. That 2.91. I mean, earlier in the year when he's throwing up ones, you have to pitch a good game or stay close to even, stay in the game. Right now, they're treading water. It'd be nice to get something on the board this inning after getting that leadoff man aboard. Because, like I said, he doesn't give up a lot of hits. You're not going to string 3, 4, 5 hits together in an inning. Hopefully you can get somebody on, you can hit a home run, or you get a walk, and somebody hits an extra base hit.
Lonnie down on the count, 1-2.
Nice.
Chisenhall lines it toward left center field. It's in the gap. Jackson will cut it off. Chisenhall's digging for 2, and he'll slide in safely with a double. So the Indians with back-to-back hits off Verlander here in the 5th. Chisenhall follows the Kochman single with a double, and the Indians have him at 2nd and 3rd with nobody out.
That was a nice job by Chisenhall hitting the breaking ball and staying on it the other way. He's going to throw him that curveball away, and it was up enough that's a pretty swing going the other way. Plugs the gap. Chisenhall going to get into second base. So what a start to this inning. That's his 3rd double. 2nd and 3rd, nobody out.
Matt Laporta, the batter, struck out his first time up. Verlander will go back to the windup. And a breaking ball for strike 1.
Yeah, that's why he's going back to that windup. Instead of coming out of the stretch, give you a little more motion, a little more arms and legs, and then he buckles you with that curveball.
Fastball right in on his thumbs, and nobody can move. 1 away.
Well, that's called getting in the old kitchen is right. You look at it right here. He runs that fastball in, almost hit it off his thumbs. But watch Verlander look the runner back, and I watched Chisenhall. Chisenhall wanted to take off, thinking that you got to keep your eye on the man in front of you. So he looks him back, throws to first, gets the first out.
Got to believe Laporta frustrated because he didn't have to swing at that pitch 0-1, and by the time he'd already committed, it was too late.
Well, there's not a whole lot of time to make up time for that fastball. You better be dead set on it.
Carrera grounded to 3rd his first time up. He's had a good cut, but he fouled it straight back, and he hit 99 miles an hour.
Well, now's the time where pitchers, there's a few times in a ball game where they have to reach back and get a little extra for the punch out. And today, right now, may be one of them. He went inside, got Laporta for out number 1. He's going to try and keep him right there.
50 out of 70 pitches for strikes tonight so far from Verlander. And that curveball missing. Casey Kochman at 3rd with Chisenhall at 2nd. Didn't miss by much, 3-1.
Now be ready for your fastball here. Make it about belt high or below. Just be ready for it and try and put a short stroke on it. Anything else you take. Look for your fastball.
Fastball, but he elevated it and let her high. And at 99.
That's all right. You get one more crack at it. You get one more crack at it. It was a little high. See, that's why I said belt or below. That one was a couple ball widths up above the belt, which is probably a ball if you take it. So you got to make him get that one down a little bit.
The payoff pitch. And he strikes him out.
Change up.
Third strikeout for Verlander. 2 down in the inning.
Well, you know what you're doing. He came back with the changeup after he elevated the fastball. Takes something off 89. You can see the movement going down and away. You have the hitter out in front. Nice sequence by Verlander.
Jason Donald lined one to Prince Fielder at first base, his first and only time up tonight. And a first pitch breaking ball for strike one. Fastball over the bag, fair ball. Fielder smothers it and flips it to Verlander to end the inning.
What a play.
That was a sensational stop by Fielder. It looked at first like maybe it would get by him, but somehow he stopped it, and the Indians fail to score.
Fans to come out here to the ball game, sit right here in the Subway Extreme Fan Zone during home games. It's a place to be to get Subway gift cards, Indians fun money. We have a blast out here. Don't forget, Subway is where winners eat. Matt, Rick, back to you guys.
All right, Katie, thank you. We are going into the 6th inning now. Tigers leading it 4-0. Corey Kluber's night will be over. He went 5 innings, 8 hits, 4 runs. He walked a couple, had 5 strikeouts, but the 2 strike hitting's a story off Kluber. Chris Seddon coming on now for the 11th time. What a play by Fielder right there to end that inning. I mean, that was right over the bag. That's 2 runs. He just saved 2 runs.
And Alex Avila looks at ball 1 from Chris Seddon. Yeah, you know, Prince Fielder's not one of those guys you necessarily
you don't think of him defensively, but he doesn't miss any games. He plays every day. So he,
Ouch.
oh man, that's right off the front leg of Avila.
No, that was terrific play. Send along our birthdays tonight. Earl Childers of Kent is turning 89. We've got Ryan Colove of Marietta, who is turning 30, and also Jimmy Myers of Rocky River turning 30. Happy birthday to each and every one.
Over the outside corner for a called strike. Swung on and missed, and Chris Seddon strikes out Avila. One down here in the 6th.
Well, there's saving 2 runs right there. He got that ball and flips it. Verlander right there. Look at, they're pumped. Verlander happy about it, and Fielder, very nice play.
That's a game changer. They scored 2 runs if he doesn't make that play.
And the inning's still going on, and they cut the lead in half. It's a 4-2 ball game, and who knows?
Infante looks at a strike. It's 0-2. Infante has grounded out and flied out tonight. Got a piece of that. Stays alive. Tampa Bay leads New York 3-1 in the Bronx. Rays started the night 4 games out of first in the AL East, trying to stop a 3-game skid.
Who's Baltimore playing tonight? Yes. Oh, they're out west. That's going to be a nice little series.
Yeah, they got Oakland.
Holy smokes, that's going to be a pretty good series.
Infante goes down swinging. Back-to-back strikeouts for Chris Seddon. 2 down here in the 6th. Game recap brought to you by your Northern Ohio Toyota dealers. Delman Young's RBI single in the first got the Tigers on the board. 4 straight hits in the inning gave him a 2-0 lead, and then Austin Jackson's RBI double made it 3-0. Miguel Cabrera with an RBI single with 2 outs in the second made it 4-0, and that's where we stand. Find out about more than 30 Toyota offers available now at buyatoyota.com. And the Tigers, with 2 outs in the ballgame, have gone 7 for 11. The other way foul. Nicely done. He jumps ahead 1-2. Almost chased after it, but he held up. 2-2. Jackson has gone down swinging twice tonight, but his RBI double was big back in that second inning. Chopper to short. Jason Donald flips it over, pulled him off the bag. Kochman with a nice tag, and he also had to protect himself because they were looking at a head-on collision.
1, 2, 3 go the Tigers. 4-0 Detroit. Four nothing Tigers on top, bottom of the 6th inning. Top of the order for the Indians coming up. Justin Verlander, a 3-hit shutout, and the Indians had a chance in the 5th with 2nd and 3rd, nobody out. But he worked off the hook, saved by a terrific defensive play at first by Prince Fielder. Chu almost took Verlander with it right back up the middle. That was a solid line drive back through the box, and I don't know, Verlander somehow shimmied his way.
He undressed him. He undressed him. Get that butt out of the way. He saw it coming, and he gets out of the way. Chu, a nice swing on a fastball to take it right back up the middle. That's a 4th hit now. Chisenhall with 2. Kochman led off last inning with a single, and Chu will lead off the 6th now with a single.
And a pitch down low ball to Jason Kipnis, who walked in the 1st, struck out his last time up. Two balls, no strikes. And that changeup maybe caught the outside corner. And it's 2-1.
But it goes to show you, I mean, Verlander, here's a guy that throws in the mid-90s in a 2-0 count, and that's outside.
Close.
Yeah, that's Wally Bell. Come on, Wally. That's better than that. You can't give this guy any help like that on a pitch when he's got the kind of stuff that he has. But I'm saying 2-0 to Kipnis, he comes back and throws a changeup instead of saying, let's go. It's a 4-run lead. I'm going to, instead of going with his fastball.
3 balls and a strike. Carlos Santana waiting on deck. In the air, left field, over near the line. Dirk's long run, he's there and makes the catch. 2 down. Or 1 down, excuse me, and we'll pause for station identification. You're watching Cleveland Indians baseball. Carlos Santana 0 for 2 on the night. He's bounced into a double play, and he's grounded out to first. And Santana takes for ball 1 inside. First time up, Verlander just teased him with off-speed pitches and had Santana out in front. Dialed it up to 95, and it's 1-1. With his fastball tonight, he's been 94 to 99. That's drilled deep right field. Back is Bosch. On the track, it's over his head. Short hops the wall. Into third is Chu. He'll be held there. And once again, for the second inning in a row, the Indians have runners at second and third. Santana's 27th double of the year. And the Indians' second extra base hit tonight against Verlander.
Boy, oh boy, you'd love to see him take advantage of it. Santana got a fastball up, and it was down a little. I mean, I shouldn't say up. It was down a little bit below that belt, and it was inside that he likes. Found his zone. He gets it over the head of Bosch where it short hops the wall. So now for the second straight inning, the Indians will have second and third. Last inning was nobody out. This inning there is 1 out.
Now Russ Kanzler has popped up, fly to center. Fastball up and away for ball 1. That fastball is popped up. Shallow right, Bosch in. He'll make the catch, and once again the runners have to hold. Uh-oh, Chu got caught. He dives back safely.
What was he doing?
Barely got back.
He was lucky to get back.
Yeah, I think he was thinking about maybe trying to catch him napping or something and maybe steal a run there, but he almost got caught in no man's land.
Yeah, he went down, I'd say, almost halfway. Look at Smitty's talking to him right now. You know, and you're not expecting them to run. It's not that far. He just gets it to his cutoff man, but he says, here they come. They throw behind him, and he just did get his hand back in there. That was awfully close.
So 2 down, and once again, the Indians looking for a 2-out hit to try to break through. Casey Kochman singled his last time up and rips it foul the other way. "90 pitches on the night for Justin Verlander. Upstairs with it, 1-1. Tied him up good, high fastball, and it's 1-2.
He got that one up there at 98. He reached back for a little bit and then located it beautifully.
Casey fights it off, stays alive. Breaking ball hit to third. Cabrera smothers it, gets up and throws.
Wow.
And he got him. Another terrific defensive effort by the Tigers to end the inning. They did it to the Tribe in the 5th. They do it again here in the 6th.
Try rewards. You can use your points to come and throw out the first pitch or go to a pregame press conference. Get more information on 2013 season tickets by calling 216-420-HITS. Guys, back to you.
Tigers with a 4-0 lead.
Back-to-back innings. 4-4.
Yeah, back-to-back innings. They've had terrific plays to end a scoring chance for the Tribe. Andy Dirks, Miguel Cabrera, and Prince Fielder.
Those are the boys that are supposed to drive them in, not save them.
Dirks was trying to bunt.
He never got the bat out in front of the plate, and he bunted it right back into Santana.
Looked like he got both of them, Santana and also Wally Bell. Let's see. That's what happens. Catchers have to hate guys that bunt, and they don't know what they're doing. It went right in. It got Santana's shoulder and Wally down on the foot. It's like pinball. Deflecting off the bat. You know it's going to hit one of the body parts.
At the knees, a called strike. And it's 0-2.
Well, Seddon's out throwing strikes tonight.
Yes, he is.
What's he, 13 out of 15? Or he hasn't messed around.
Got him to swing and fights it off.
14 out of 17 now.
Seddon retired the side in order in the 6th. Up high with the fastball. Fastball in. Tied him up, popped him up. Donald backpedaling, makes the catch and hangs on as he stumbles into the outfield for out number 1. Let's go back to the Hyundai Studios right now for an in-game update with Dave Chudowski.
Matt, Rick, thanks. How about L.A. and Kansas City? The Angels trying to stay in that wild card chase. C.J. Wilson gives up the homer to Billy Butler here in the 2nd. His 100th career homer as a Royal. 2 batters later, Mike Moustakas does the same thing. 3-0 Royals in the 4th. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Chud. The Angels 7.5 games out in the AL West. That's all but over for them. And in the wild card race, 3.5 out. There's still a lot of baseball to go for the Angels as far as that's concerned. But, Rick, doesn't it seem like we've been waiting for 2 months for the Angels to kind of kick it and just take off?
They were playing good until they ran into the A's.
Yeah.
They came out, they swept the Tigers.
Wow, Chris Seddon locks out Miguel Cabrera. Is he throwing well tonight? That is 5 straight. The left-hander is retired with 3 strikeouts.
Well, you're right. He's on his game. He is throwing strikes. Look at, he's keeping everything down at the knees. Look at that. And that was a good pitch, boy. It locks him up. Not many times you're going to do that to this guy. He takes a look. That's what happens. You save him. You don't drive him in then. He saved a pair in his last play. And this guy, too, they've saved 4 runs. You know, and you talk about Detroit's defense and their lack of range, which they do have on the infield. But give them credit when they do. Prince Fielder saved on a good play, saved 2 runs, and Cabrera did as well in back-to-back innings. And, you know, you'll talk out there, you'll read in the paper, oh, Verlander's throwing another shutout. Well, those 2 guys saved him some runs.
Chris Seddon, 2 perfect innings out of the Indians' bullpen. Stretch time here at Progressive Field, 4-0 Detroit. 7th inning stretch brought to you by the Cleveland Clinic's free walking program. Let's move it. Mondays at Progressive Field and the Metro Park Zoo. Visit letsmoveit.org for more information. Our Panini camera. Stop by and get overstuffed at Panini's Bar and Grill. Avisail Garcia is now in the ballgame for Detroit, taking over for Brennan Bosch in right field. Lonnie Chisenhall, Matt Laporta, Ezekiel Carrera due up for the Tribe. Verlander has not been able to figure out Lonnie Chisenhall. Chisenhall singled in the second, and he doubled in the fifth. He got the changeup that he laced into right field for the base hit in the second inning, and then in the fifth on a breaking ball, he took it the opposite way for a terrific double.
A pretty good swing there on a fastball.
And we've got one out here in the bottom of the seventh. As promised earlier, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. And the Tigers, as Rick just said, not known for their defense, but these are two game-saving plays. One by Fielder. That scores 2 runs if he doesn't get it.
That's impactful. And I'm telling you, did you see the reaction of Verlander both times those plays were made? Those are the ones that drive them in. They're not the ones that normally save them. But I'll tell you tonight, they've kept 4 off the board for Verlander, and he was very grateful of it.
Matt Laporta takes the ball down low. And now he wraps one to short. Peralta off balance throw, and Fielder couldn't scoop it out. And so Laporta is aboard with 1 out here in the 7th inning with an infield single.
Yeah, Johnny, there's his range. And you see, he just couldn't get enough or make an accurate throw. It was just a little low. Fielder couldn't pick it. Goes a base hit for Matt Laporta. That's a tough play. You see a lot of shortstops try and get it, and they jump up to make the throw. Jeter's known for doing that. We saw Andrus make that play the other night, and it was a bang-bang play at first base. But he didn't get up in the air to throw it, and it was a little short.
Ezekiel Carrera 0 for 2 on the night. Outside, ball 1. This will be the 100th pitch of the night for Verlander. And way out in front was Carrera. %69 for strikes. He's been ahead a lot.
Yeah, he has. When this guy's throwing 69% strikes, you know he's going to be in for a good night.
Might have been a generous call, but he's ahead again, 1-2.
14-0-2, 1-2 counts for Verlander tonight.
He hit Laporta with that throw over to first. Not sure where he hit him. Why in the world would he be throwing over there?
Why does he think Laporta's going anywhere? That's what I don't understand. He's not a base stealer. He can't run. It's a 4-0 lead. It's just it's got to be habit.
I think it is.
You know, where it's just in your mind you got to throw to first base. I think Laporta was as shocked as anybody.
I wonder if that got him on the knee.
He has made 10 throws, Tebow is telling me today, to first base.
Tim Tebow's doing the stats for us tonight?
Tebow. Teflon Tom.
I think a lot of pitchers, because we see it. It's not just Verlander tonight. We see a lot of pitchers. It becomes habit. They just have to throw over there. Double barrel action for the Tigers in their pen. Back out of play. Threw it by him. 97-mile-an-hour fastball. Just the fourth strikeout tonight for Verlander. And with 2 down in the inning, we'll get the answer to the AT&T trivia question tonight. Spawn and Sane and pray for rain. Penned on this date back in 1948. First we'll use Spahn, then we'll use Sane, and then Jason Donald will foul one down the right field line. What's interesting about that poem, in the month of September, Spahn and Sane combined to go 8-0 in a span of 13 days.
Wow.
Thanks to doubleheaders, rainouts, off days, and they pulled away to win the pennant. Then in the World Series against the Indians, they combined to go 2-2, but the Indians prevailed in 6 games.
So you can see, there you go. It got him in the hand.
Donald in considerable pain, it would appear.
See if it's a hand or the forearm, because as he was turning in, that ball was running in. It's either the wrist or that forearm right there. It's the forearm. Absolutely, his right forearm.
They're taking a long look at Jason Donald.
I'm going to zoom it in, and you can see right there in the right forearm. Oh. Yes, indeed, right on the bone.
He smoked him flush.
Well, again now, for the 3rd inning in a row, they'll have 2 men aboard. Then it'll roll back up to Chew.
And Chew takes a strike. Base hit his last time up. He lined one right back up the middle. .96 miles an hour, and he gets ahead of Chew 0-2.
There's a good job at staying alive right there on a good pitch. Fouled it off. See if he can do the same thing Cabrera did earlier in the game. Fouled off an awfully tough pitch and then got a base hit with 2 outs and 2 strikes.
Pitch number 110 on the night for Verlander, coming up here to Chu. Breaking ball and got him looking. The 6th strikeout for Justin Verlander, and the Indians strand 2 more.
Is presented by the authority of the Cleveland Indians and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians.
Eighth inning, 4-0 Tigers, and the Indians will go to the bullpen for the second time tonight. Frank Herman will come on after Chris Seddon worked 2 perfect innings of relief with 3 strikeouts.
He was good, wasn't he?
He was terrific. I mean, he was ahead of everybody. And
kept the ball down, painting it in and out. He did a nice job changing speeds. Setting 3 strikeouts in his 2 innings.
Jason Donald is done for the night after he took that fastball on his right forearm. And hopefully he's all right, but we'll wait and see when we get a medical update on him. Brent Lillibridge will come in and take over at shortstop. It didn't look good the way it hit him flush.
No, it didn't. You're right. And it's coming in there in the mid-90s. So
Delman Young looks at a breaking ball for a strike. In Minnesota, the White Sox lead the Twins 2-0. They're in the 4th inning. Tampa Bay has increased its lead over the Yankees to 4-2 in the 7th in New York. Tied him up with a good fastball, ran it in at 96 miles an hour. And that is out number 1. In-game box score brought to you by your Northern Ohio Hyundai dealers. Austin Jackson had an RBI double back in the 2nd inning.
But it was the first inning damage that set the tone for Detroit. 4 straight 2-out hits. They took a 2-0 lead, added 2 in the second. They haven't scored since. In fact, since the second inning, they have 1 hit. 2 hits, I'm sorry. 2 hits. Avisail Garcia. His first at bat tonight. Young man who bears a striking resemblance to Miguel Cabrera when he's at the plate, the way he swings the bat.
Yeah, he
Built
does.
similarly, but when we saw him in Detroit, one thing we noted, he can run.
He can flat out run. He had that infield single, if you remember. And he got down the line very well.
And Garcia out looking, so back-to-back strikeouts for Frank Herman. So Herman taking the lead from Chris Seddon, who punched out the first 2 he faced.
10 strikeouts now for Indians pitching. Kluber had 5, Seddon 3, and now Herman, the first 2 guys he faced on a perfect pitch right there, a fastball to get Garcia.
And now Johnny Peralta, who had the Tigers' last hit in this game in the 5th inning. He singled to left field and looked like maybe he'd get an RBI, but Russ Kanzler threw a strike to home plate from left field to nail Brennan Bosch. Saved a run for the Indians. Was a dynamite defensive effort. But unfortunately, the Indians were then done in by a couple of terrific defensive plays by Detroit behind Justin Verlander. Saved him 4 runs in this game.
They're going to turn it over to their bullpen as well.
Popped him up, right field. Chu coming in. And the Tigers go 1-2-3. We'll go to the last of the 8th, 4-0 Detroit. Tigers 4, Indians nothing. And Joaquin Benoit coming on for the 65th time this year. 3 up, 3 down, 3.36 ERA. 74 strikeouts in 61 2/3 innings. Our great clip of the game from yesterday. Jason Kipnis with a 2-run homer to put the Indians in front to stay in the top half of the 9th inning. Great clips. It's going to be great.
Verlander came out tonight throwing a lot of strikes. The Indians had opportunities. The Tigers' defense stopped them. The 2 plays, one by Fielder, one by Cabrera, and back-to-back innings back in the 5th and 6th. They also had an opportunity back in the 7th when they had 2 on, even though 2 were out.
Well, the unfortunate thing about both the 5th and 6th innings is they couldn't just scratch out a run in each of those innings, get on the board. As Kipnis drives one to center and Austin Jackson makes the catch. You don't always execute fundamentally in those situations, but boy, you just, when you're against a guy like that, man, you got to try to get that run home from third,
Well, with the good pitchers, especially like Verlander, that's the tough ones to get. But they had opportunities, and they put the ball in play.
Carlos Santana 1 for 3 on the night. He doubled in the 6th. Benoit taking a page from Justin Verlander and goes off speed to Carlos Santana. High school football is back on STO. Tonight's Notre Dame College Game of the Week is Stowe and Twinsburg. Tune in tonight at 11:30. Your home for high school football. Sports Time, Ohio. Elevated the fastball up above the belt, close to the letters, and it's 1-2. Jose Valverde, Tigers closer, getting loose.
Well, that's how they like to set it up. Benoit, then they go to Valverde. You can see Benoit has a nice variance difference between his fastball and his changeup. That's why when you don't get him in hittable counts where you can sit on one, it makes it a little bit tougher as a hitter.
Santana was on that fastball, but he fouls it right back.
Well, when you take a good swing like that and you foul it straight back, you would think the changeup's coming next, because he was right on it.
Were there guys that you could pick up the changeup, or were there some guys that didn't have a great one that would maybe do something to tip it off just a little bit?
Some guys would maybe slow down their arm speed a little bit, and something just a little bit different. When they're throwing it out of the same arm slot and they have the same arm speed with fastball and changeup, there's nothing you can do about it. Nowadays, so many guys have good changeups because now they're throwing that circle change. Not only is it the same arm speed, but then the ball
got the
moves.
Movement, too, yeah.
Really late and down and away. And some guys, the guys that can perfect it. You remember Doug Jones with the Indians. I'll tell you what, and you knew it was coming. It was like a Bugs Bunny changeup. It was just very difficult to hit, even when you knew it was coming.
I think back to Pedro Martinez, too, in his heyday in the late 90s, man. He was throwing mid-90s with his fastball, and his changeup would be, 70-something miles an hour.
It's scary. Messersmith had a good one. There's some guys that really had good changeups.
The 2-2. Smoke foul again by Santana. Count stays 2 balls, 2 strikes. Bang to second base. Infante scoops it up, and there are 2 down here in the 8th. Well, last night the Indians lived on the home run bowl. 3 home runs in the ball game. Tonight still looking for their first, but every time the Indians homer, Rick and I each make a donation of $5 to the Gathering Place, while Great Clips donates $50 and $7,440 raised so far this year for the Gathering Place. Great needs, great deeds, great clips. Had one more birthday wish tonight. Forgot to mention this earlier. Raymond Smith-Heisler in Kirtland, Ohio, celebrating his 100th birthday.
Ah, congratulations. Give me a cake. I'll drop it off on the way home tonight.
He's got a piece waiting for you. Kanzler takes a strike. It's 1-1. Off-speed pitch, and you can see Kanzler just kind of wave at it.
Well, the slider, you didn't see that against the left-handers. It was pretty much fastball changeup. Now you get the right-handed bat, and he mixes in the slider. That was a nice pick. That's when you expect to deflect off the body or go off some part of your padding. He ended up picking it.
Two down here in the bottom of the 8th. Base is empty. Fastball took off on him. Full count. Casey Kochman would be next if Kanzler, who is 0 for 3, can keep the inning alive. He strikes out, and the Indians go 1-2-3. We'll go to the 9th. 4-0 Detroit. 1, 2, 3/8 will stay on. He'll be facing Alex Avila, Omar Infante, and Austin Jackson. Two balls, no strikes. Herman struck out Young and Bosch in the 8th and then got Peralta to fly out. Now he's 3-0 to Alex Avila. Taken all the way, it's 3-1. We'll get activity once again in the Indians bullpen as it looks like Tony Sipp will begin to loosen. In the air, left field. Kanzler. He's there, one away. After the ball game tonight on Sports Time Ohio, you can tune in for the Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care post-game show. Dateline NBC is coming your way next on Channel 3 after we wrap things up here tonight. Omar Infante 0 for 3, struck out his last time up. He goes after the first pitch, and Kanzler will make the play again, 2 down. Takes us to the top of the order where Austin Jackson is 1 for 4 tonight. If you joined us late, Detroit, with 2 outs and nobody on in the first inning, strung together 4 consecutive singles to score a couple of runs. And then in inning number 2, they got an RBI double from this guy, Austin Jackson, to make it 3-0. And another 2-out RBI hit from Miguel Cabrera. And they haven't scored since. In fact, the Tigers have just 2 base hits since Cabrera's RBI double in the second inning. They came consecutively in the 5th. And since Russ Kanzler made that throw to the plate to retire Brennan Bosch after Peralta's hit in that 5th inning, Indians pitching has combined to retire 11 Tigers in a row. And the count 1-2 now on Jackson. Two offering. Fastball just missed, I guess. 3-2.
That was just outside.
Popped up foul ground. Chu over near the seats, but can't get to it. And Jackson will go back and try again. Detroit came into tonight 75-67 under Jim Leland. They've played dynamite baseball at home, but 32-39 on the road this year. They've lost 5 out of 6 to the Tribe here in Cleveland. But in command here tonight. This time he pops him up on the infield. Kochman calling for it. Casey has it, and the Tigers go 1-2-3. We'll go to the bottom of the ninth here at Progressive Field. It's Detroit 4 and Cleveland nothing. It's 4-0 Detroit, though, as we go to the bottom of the ninth, and Jose Valverde will try to finish it off for the Tigers. 62nd appearance of the year. He's 30 out of 34 in save situations. And he has struck out 43. He's walked 22 in his 59 2/3 innings. Sometimes it's not always pretty with Valverde, but more times than not, he gets the job done.
Well, how about last year being perfect, all year long? I mean, that's tough to rebound and have a year after everything was perfect.
But even in a perfect year, he had some saves that like, wow, how did he get out of that?
Yes, he did. You're right. He could. Leland could probably smoke another pack of cigarettes watching him.
One of them came against the Indians.
Yeah, when we were in Detroit.
It was Fukudome who tagged and tried to score, and there was a fly ball. Tag him up, throw him out at home to end the game.
Yes, it was. I remember it well.
Casey flied to deep right back in the second. Then he had the base hit in the fifth. And then he was robbed by Miguel Cabrera in the sixth on a diving stop by the Tigers' third baseman. They're telling us Jason Donald is going for x-rays on his right wrist.
Oh, thanks, Tommy. I thought he was just going to stay there. We figured that.
The 1-1 to Kochman. In the air, deep center field. Back is Jackson, cruising back, and one away. This was the play involving Jason Donald. It's the right wrist as he turned into the pitch.
That ball had some run to it. Coming inside, good fastball. And you can see that ball didn't go far away, so that means it hit pretty solid.
He absorbed the blow. Lonnie Chisenhall, 2 for 3 tonight. A single, a double, grounded out his last time up. Up high. Up high, 2-0. White Sox leading the Twins 2-0. They're in the 6th now in Minnesota. Three balls, no strikes. Tampa Bay leading the Yankees 5-2. They're in the 8th in New York. Baltimore will be getting underway in a little while out in Oakland. Orioles, Yankees tied for the top spot in the AL East. And if New York falters, Baltimore could take over with a win in Oakland. 3 balls, no strikes, the count on Chisenhall. And it's ball 4. So a 1-out walk will bring up Matt Laporta. Laporta tonight, 1 for 3 with an infield hit. And Laporta cuts and misses. Down in Texas, the Rangers lead the Mariners 2-1. They're in the 6th inning in that game. Seattle 69 and 75 on the year, but they've played very well of late. High pop, center field. Austin Jackson will make the catch, 2 down. Ezekiel Carrera will be coming to the plate now for the Indians. Carrera has punched out twice in the ball game. And a swing and a foul into the glove of Avila. Chisenhall down to second base. No steal.
And a high pop-up. Peralta has it. And the Indians fall in the series opener to Detroit by a final score of 4-0. Justin Verlander gets his 14th win as the Indians are blanked on 6 hits here this evening. So the Tigers have moved within a half game of front-running Chicago in the Central Division. But the Tigers may not pick up that other half game because it looked like the White Sox were holding on to a 2-0 lead in Minneapolis. But Jim Leyland's club came in here tonight, did what they had to do. They lost 5 out of 6 here at Progressive Field to the Indians on the year, but they get the win here tonight, 4-0. Time now for our key play of the game, brought to you by KeyBank.
Well, you go to back-to-back innings, and the Indians had opportunities, and there's a beautiful play by fielder with 2 outs to get Donald with 2 guys on, and then the very next inning, you're going to see Cabrera take a base hit away from Kochman, runners at second and third, and Verlander was pumped, and that's the reason why the Indians were shut out tonight. They had 2 opportunities and 2 good defensive plays by the big boys on the corners.
Get to a KeyBank branch now and rake in big savings on a car loan or home equity loan during KeyBank's Rake It In loan event. Final numbers tonight: Detroit 4 runs, 8 hits, no errors, 6 left. The Indians no runs, 6 hits, no errors, 7 stranded. Winning pitcher Justin Verlander, he's 14-8. The loser is Corey Kluber. He drops to 1-4. With the win, the Tigers are 76-67. The Indians drop to 60-85. The attendance tonight, 17,185. Time of the game, 2 hours and 53 minutes. The Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care postgame show can be seen on Sports Time Ohio. For those of you watching here on WKYC in Cleveland, Dateline NBC is next. For Rick Manning and for Katie Witham, I'm Matt Underwood. Thanks so much for watching. Our final score tonight, the Tigers 4 and the Indians 0.